Okay, I did it again. I hit the button that says record. My levels look good. Your levels look good?
Yes, my levels look fantastic.
All right. So in that case, hopefully you're listening to Words About Books. I'm Nate. That's Ben. And I understand that we are going to be discussing Ready Player 2 through the lens of Norse mythology now. Is that accurate? We're talking about Voluspa, which is where Loki goes when he needs his Loki sauna. Got it. Yeah. Bam. I got it.
God.
Go ahead and put the drums after that.
Yep. I think I'm going to have to. That was actually pretty good. I will reluctantly admit that was pretty good. We're reading Voluspa, which is a famous poem in the Poetic Edda where Odin conjures the spirit of a dead witch to try to explain what the hell Ernest Cline was thinking when he wrote Ready Player 2. No, in all seriousness, we're doing Norse mythology again. We did have at least one request for more Norse myth, and that's the request I choose to honor.
Yeah, we did. That's why I wanted to go with it, because we had someone who paid us money, and we were like, hey, you know what? We want to honor the people who give us generously from their wallets.
So last time we covered Lokasenna, which I think is kind of an easy introduction into Norse myth because it's funny and it's about Loki getting drunk and pissing off everybody at a party and then getting his ass kicked.
That's the Loki series I want to watch from Disney.
It's one of those timeless stories that just happens to repeat itself again and again. But in that, if you want to go back and check that out, you can. You don't have to, actually, because this...
But you should, because we want your downloads. Tasty, tasty downloads.
But in that, a couple of things, just right off the bat. Norse mythology is popular among white supremacists. We're not about that. I just like the stories, getting that out of the way.
Oh, is that what you were talking about with the Asatru?
Asatru, yeah.
Asatru? Oh, shit.
Yeah, just watch out for that when you start. If you Google about this stuff, our source is the translation of the Poetic Edda by Dr. Jackson Crawford, published by Hackett Publishing. He's a great resource. He has a YouTube channel where he goes over the Old Norse language and all things about the texts that are written in Old Norse. I think it's probably the safest place to start if you want to get into this stuff. Start with him, because you can quickly find your way into some weird self-appointed guru nonsense.
And then after that, look up Crusader Kings 3. You get to play as the Norsemen, ruining everyone's day. It's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
I became a pirate king centered around the Isle of Man. It was great.
I mean, essentially, everyone discussed in a Norse saga is half pirate king.
Hey, I was living up to my ideals then.
That's right. Your bold
I also
ideals.
took over Scotland.
We're going to be reading, like I said, the translation of the Poetic Edda from Dr. Jackson Crawford by Hackett Publishing. Highly recommend it. It uses pretty modern language. It doesn't attempt to sound flowery. Doesn't preserve the structure of the poems. It's pretty difficult to translate that, but it does preserve all the information. Second thing, if you're really, really nerdy, there are 2 manuscripts in which Voluspa appears. The one we're going from is the Codex Regius, which is the older of the 2 sources, but there is another version of Voluspa out there that has more lines. I forget what that text is called.
That's the one where everyone lives happily ever after, right?
No, that's never going to happen.
That's the version that the medieval equivalent of Disney added in, right?
Yeah. Oh, I guess the other thing I said at the beginning of Lokasenna, if you don't know anything about Norse myth other than like the Marvel stuff, then you don't know anything about Norse myth. Marvel's Thor is funny, but The Thor and Loki aren't brothers. Odin's not a wise grandfather.
I heard the latest one, Love and Thunder, is actually pretty bad, Ben.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
I don't care, so I'm not going to find out.
I also
Leave
don't care.
Leave us a comment if you thought it was actually good or whatever. I don't care. But yeah, because I think you said like Dark Elf and Giant, those are used interchangeably?
No. Dark Elf and Dwarf are used kind of interchangeably.
Right. It was it was Giant and God that are similar, right?
Yeah, so giants, the word for giant in Norse is Jotun, and that has always been translated as giant, but it gives you the impression that they are, larger than the gods. They're not a different species. The giants are roughly equivalent to the gods. Jackson Crawford has started translating it as anti-god rather than giant. They're just kind of like equally powerful beings that are of a different clan or several different clans. And most of the gods are born from a pairing of god and giant. Like Thor is the son of Odin and the giant who represents the earth.
Okay, because in this, it says that Thor is Odin's son, and I thought you said that he wasn't when we talked about
Loki is not Odin's son.
Okay.
Thor is Odin's son.
Well, he wasn't in the Marvel either, Ben. He was a frost giant in disguise.
So Loki is a blood brother of Odin. Loki is in this, so that's important to know. I guess.
Yeah. Odin isn't gonna kill Loki, and Loki going around sticking his dick in weird things, making a weird prodigy, and then causing Ragnarok. Thanks a lot.
Progeny, but yeah, it's fun stuff. So background for Voluspa. Voluspa is a conversation. Pretty one-sided conversation between Odin and the spirit of a witch who he has necromanced back from the dead to ask her questions about the future and the past.
That get the magic by getting rid of his eye? That's what I
don't know if he got... Yeah, that is true. He sacrificed his eye in Mimir's well for wisdom. He sacrificed himself to himself on Yggdrasil, and he learned many runes and spells from that. So this is one of Odin's powers, and I don't know if he had it before he did that, or if this is the result. It's not clear where Odin gets each specific power. The myths never get that detailed.
So in Lokasena, he says he implies like, I believe this will happen, or like, I believe she can see the future. It really seemed like Odin couldn't. Is that the case? Is he using this witch to help him see shit that he can't actually see him himself?
Yeah, so there is a type of magic in Norse myth called Seidr magic. We talked about this a little bit in Lokasena. Seidr magic is
awesome.
Usually it's usually the province of women, because there is some link to it and playing the passive role in sex with a man. So men can practice Seidr magic, but they only if they're bottoms. So
would you fuck Odin?
And that's not the old Norse society was decidedly homophobic on that account. I mean, I guess if you're bottoms. Not sure how they felt about tops. It was one of those situations.
I see.
Seidr magic, it's unclear what all it can do, but the main thing it does is foresight and telling the future. Almost always in the sagas of the heroes and other myths, women will be asked to tell the future. And I think even Caesar commented on this when he ran into the Norse, that he'd never seen like these big tough men before consult a woman about going into battle. They did actually do that. They would talk to their local Seidr specialist about whether or not this was an opportune time to go into battle.
Have you seen Vikings? Their seer is a dude.
Well, no, I haven't seen Vikings, but I'm going to imagine
he was the bottom.
Was he?
He must be. If he's using that magic, right?
I don't know if they got that right or not. I mean,
I don't know either, but I'm inclined to believe.
In Lokasenna, we had Odin and Loki both accusing each other of practicing this kind of magic. And neither of them denying it. They both did, for sure, practice this kind of magic. And of course, Loki has had children as a woman. He has given birth to children. So sexual orientation is whatever. I think, like in our own age and probably every other age, it is more fluid than anyone cares to admit. But yeah, so Odin needs somebody who can see the future better than even he can. And so he has called up this witch. He has called up this witch. She is a powerful, and you will enjoy this. The term for a witch is vulva. V-O-L-V-A.
The O with the umlaut on top. The O.
Vulva. But yes.
I mean, I wonder how... I kind of need to know now. Does that have anything to do with the English word?
The etymology? I have no idea what the etymology of vulva is. But if it's a coincidence, it's a really funny one. I thought this would be a good pick for you because you had all kinds of questions about Ragnarok and who fights who and what goes on. And this is like the poem for that.
So the witch is like, you're about to get vulvaed.
Did you see that jerk?
So the poem starts off, and again, I'll read bits and pieces here and there, but the translation itself is copyrighted, so I don't want to just read it to you. There is an audiobook where he says all of this correctly in Old Norse. He does all the names and stuff right, so...
And somehow I got it for free when I bought the Kindle version, which isn't supposed to happen.
Hey.
Pretty nice.
The witch starts at the beginning. The very beginning. The void where nothing exists.
So Odin was like, hey... I need to know about how everything ends. And she's like, well, let's start at the beginning first. So he has to, sit down and wait for Grandma to go ahead and read the entire story instead of just the really cool part at the end.
Yeah, so this is kind of the in a nutshell version of the Norse creation myth. There is a more detailed version of it. But in the beginning, there was nothing. And then there was Yggdrasil, I think, the world tree, and the 9 worlds. There are 9 giantesses, or Jotun women. There is Ymir, who is the giant that our world is built from. I don't know if they get into that in this poem. You'll have to tell me. Do you know the Ymir myth?
I know that it is pronounced differently and is the site of a forest in Tales of Symphonia, which is where I get all my Norse knowledge from. At least on their pronunciations.
I probably wouldn't get it filtered through the Japanese, filtered through the D&D first edition manual. No, Ymir's bones are the mountains, and his blood is the ocean, and all that stuff. Yeah, basically they kill Ymir, they take him apart, and they make the world out of his body.
That's really economical. You use the entire part.
You use the entire part of your... Well, he's essentially their father, I think.
Okay. I mean, why not?
So when I say they, I'm talking about Odin and his 2 actual brothers, who are Heimdall and a guy who is mentioned once and never again.
He got the Hades job where no one cared about him. We put him somewhere where we don't have to see him anymore.
I'm sorry, it's not Heimdall. Heimdall's not Odin's brother. I can't believe I mixed these 2 up. Odin, Honir, and Loth.
Wow, yeah, no, it's not at all.
I think Honir gets mentioned a few more times, but Loth, I don't know if he ever comes up again. Maybe, like I said, we don't have the complete myth, so maybe Loth was a really important character, but he didn't make the cut.
They had a council. All the great sages were there, and they're like, all right, what do we want to include in our myth? They're like, all this stuff about Loth, not feeling it.
I mean, in reality, it's more like all of this stuff was composed and passed down orally.
Right.
Very little is written in runes.
Let's not talk about Loth. I kind of forgot about him. My ADHD was kicking in, and
well, this is actually an interesting thing. I probably mentioned it in Locusena, but for people who aren't listening to Locusena, everybody thinks Old Norse runes. All of the stories and all of the poems we have that are in Old Norse are actually written in the Roman alphabet. They didn't write long documents in runes.
Score another one for Rome, am I right?
But yeah, the reason I confused Honir with Heimdall is because Heimdall, you might have noticed the witch refers to humanity as children of Heimdall.
I did see that. It also mentioned something about Thor being related to humans or something. Did
Thor
I get
is the
that
protector of humans.
Okay. Thor was the cool one.
Thor, if you wanted to pray to a god, you would probably want to pray to Thor. He is the only one who gives a shit. And he is easily... he is a big dumb guy. That's true. He's not a cunning man. But in Viking culture, I guess that makes him maybe a better person. Because the smarter you are, the more thoughts you do that are evil.
Yeah, you get a little shifty.
Yeah, the simpler you are, the harder it is to screw things up.
You just gotta introduce hammer to face.
Yep,
That's all you
Thor
need to
has
do.
no patience for lying or trickery or planning.
Or Loki acting like a drunk asshole.
There are many, many, many myths where Thor threatens to punch Loki.
and Loki's like, I gotta go. Bye now.
There is a particularly funny one where Mjolnir is stolen and Thor blames Loki and Loki says he didn't do it. And I think this time he actually didn't do it. But Thor is like, you're going to find it or I'm going to kill you. But back to the poem at hand. So we go through
Loki's like, fair point. All right, yeah, let's get back to Grandma's story on the end of the world, but first the beginning of the world.
So, did you enjoy the beginning of the world? Yeah, we killed a guy. We make the world out of his rotting corpse. Yada yada. We make some dwarves. Now, Nate, you had to know this was coming. I'm going to need you to read the entire list of dwarves.
Oh my god. All right, let me just pick out my...
I will correct you as you go.
Oh,
if,
wonderful.
by some chance, you should make a mistake.
Yeah, what are the odds of that, though? Am I right? All right, let's see. Let's go on over here.
Because, yeah, in the poem stops dead to list dwarves for like 4 stanzas. It's a good old-fashioned Bible so-and-so begot so-and-so moment. So the gods created the dwarves. The dwarves are pretty much what you would imagine.
Motsognir, the lord of all dwarves.
Motsognir.
Yeah, that's what I said. And then they made Durin.
That's pretty good. I'll give you that.
And then Ni and Nethi.
That's pretty good. Yep.
Northri and Suthri.
Sutri. Yep.
Ostri and Vestri.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Austri, Vestri.
They've got Alfioth and Dvalin.
It's pretty good, yeah.
Pretty sure Dvalin is one of the Hobbit dwarves.
Yep. Yeah, Tolkien mined this pretty hard. A lot of these are in The Hobbit.
Beaver and Baver?
Now, these were also hobbits, but he changed them a little bit. So it's Beavor and Bavor, and that's Bifur and Bomber.
No, there's Bomber.
Or Bifur
right
and
next.
Bav.
Yeah, that's right.
Sorry.
Bomber's the next one. He's also the one I remember the most outside of Thorin because he was the fat one.
Yeah.
He was a fat one that kept fucking up every single time.
Okay, you're really hard on Bomber? I've never heard anyone take that stance.
He was trying to cross that river or whatever in Mirkwood and fell in. I can't remember what happened. You get like drunk or high or something. It's like a magic river or something.
What is your beef with Bomber?
Unfit to fight dragons, Ben.
Yeah, we got a lot of dwarves to get through here, so you might want
All right, we've got Nori, that delicious seaweed.
to... Yep.
An and Anar.
On and honor.
We've got AI, it's artificial
I.
intelligence.
Or
We've got
A.
Mjothvitnir.
Mjothvitnir.
We've got Vig and
Vague.
Gandalf.
And Gandalf, yep.
Gandalf.
Yeah, yep, Gandalf's the easy one.
We've got Vindolf and Thrain.
Yeah.
Thrain, I believe, was either the father or the grandfather of Thorin, who's Thorin and Feck are the next ones.
Yep.
Thror,
Thror.
Vit and
Vit.
Lit.
I'd say Vit
Lit.
and Lit.
Nar and Nirath.
Nirath.
We got Reagan.
Reagan. I think it's Regan. Or Regan.
Yeah, and
Regan.
Ratsvith. And then these next ones, Feely and Keely, they were dwarves.
Yeah, those are easy. Yep.
Fundin and Nali.
Fundin. And Nali, yes.
Hepti and Vili.
Yeah, that's close enough.
Hanar, which they're in Mass Effect. Little jellyfish
Oh.
people. Sphere?
That's pretty good. Sphere.
Rar?
I mean, you probably don't want to hit the American R quite that hard, but yeah.
Rar.
Thrar.
Got Hornbory?
Again, there's that American R you're hitting very hard, but yeah, I'll give it to you.
Frag and Loni or Lonnie. We got Yarvang and Yari. And then Oakenshield. Thorin's last name was a dwarf, so I guess Thorin could have been like two dwarves in a trench coat or something.
Yep. He was tall for a dwarf.
And then yeah, he was. Right. And then there's Dvalin's family, which are defended from Lofar.
As men tell, yes.
Draupnir? Oh my god, these are way weirder.
Draupnir.
Draupnir. Dulkthrasir?
Dolgthrasir.
Har.
Okay.
Har.
Again, you don't have to bite off the R quite some har.
Har, matey. There's Hagspory.
Hagspory.
Helving.
Yeah. Hleveng.
Gloy. I think
Gloy.
that was a dwarf, right?
Gloin. Yeah. Gimli, son of Gloin.
Okay. Skirfir? Virfir?
Skirfir. Virfir. I believe the emphasis is always on the first syllable. If that
Nice.
helps.
Scarfith?
Scarfith. Yep.
There's I again.
Yep.
Alf and Yingvi?
Ingvi.
Yingvi? Okay. There's Oakenshield again. That one's easy.
Yeah, we just start reading the
Fjalar?
sagas.
Fjalar and Frosty.
Frosty.
Is that Oakenshield and are those different dwarves or are those the same dwarves? Except
I think they're different dwarves. When you get into the sagas, they're kind of loosely based on what are probably real people, and so you wind up telling like the sagas are short. So in a few stanzas, like in a few pages, perhaps you will go through like generations of a family in which their names are Sigurd, Sigurthriva, Sigurd again.
oh god, oh jeez,
Yeah, and they don't
It's-
call him like. Sometimes they'll add like a.
it's the Iliad all over again.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah,
So and so, son of so and so, threw a spear at so and so, who descended from so and so, brother of so and so. He's dead now.
yes.
Let's move on to the next spear that gets thrown.
So then we get to Feith and Ginar.
Keith and Ginar.
Yeah. And so those are all the
it?
dwarves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the
And
main
I think
dwarves.
my question to you was, why? Why? what are dwarves even, and why should I care?
Yeah, it's kind of vague. Because a lot of what has penetrated the common consciousness is Tolkien-based. Because
they like their
loved all this
gold and they
stuff.
like to dig too deep.
Yeah, they do mention that. In the Norse myth, in this poem, I think they mentioned that the dwarves are usually described as living in mountains, being small-ish. It's difficult to know if they're actually like short, like the 4-foot tall dwarves of Tolkien.
They're like
but
Peter Dinklage in Infinity War, where he's a dwarf, but he's playing a gigantic guy with a humongous head.
Yeah, it's not like that. But he was actually playing a dwarf that is mentioned in the sagas, I believe. Or in the poems, actually. I think he was playing one of the dwarves who forges Mjolnir. But anyway, yeah, so all you really have to go on in the original sources are that the dwarves live in mountains, they're kind of a hardy folk, and they make stuff. Whenever the gods need stuff made, they go to dwarves, and dwarves have, like, the best craftsmanship of any intelligent people.
But they never made an automatic submachine gun, so are they really the best
now,
craftsmen?
If you watch Ancient Aliens, as I do, I don't believe in any of it. I just love to hear them talk. One guy, they did the Norse gods on Ancient Aliens, and you might imagine as somebody who's pretty into this stuff.
Oh my god!
I loved that. That was top tier shit. So I think they argued that Odin's spear, he has a magic spear forged by dwarves that when he throws it, it always hits its target. That's a magical effect they put on it. Does that not sound like a guided missile? Yeah.
It doesn't sound like that because it doesn't also explode and take out whole houses and stuff. But, you know, I guess you can see whatever you want to see.
The alternative is that ancient peoples were capable of imagining things. And I just don't find that credible.
Oh my... I don't find... That's ridiculous, Ben.
Obviously.
This is obviously
people only
all
wrote
real.
Exactly what they saw. Or talked about in this case, which is even more reliable.
While we're talking about dwarves, just need to mention that the Greeks got it done with just one. Hephaestus, the god. He did all the smelting himself, so like, checkmate.
I've said
Norse
this before, the Norse gods are not
poems.
Gods of things. They're more just personalities. They're
gods
a
of
family,
fucking around.
A highly dysfunctional family of very powerful psychopaths.
I'd pay to see that reality TV show.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people did. That's why these tales were told and told again. And skalds traveled from town to town to entertain you by telling you the stories of the gods. You're cracking the code here. Or maybe it's all a real religion. I don't know.
All right. Well, yeah, this is the first ever reality TV show, or at least one of them. So yeah, we've got dwarves now. We're building things, and Odin is sitting there just going like, I already know this part. Like
Odin's like, yep,
get on
I was there. Yep.
Ragnarok.
So Odin, you're probably going to want to know what happens next, and that is when
that.
3 gods, powerful and passionate, left Asgard for Midgard, and they found Ask and Embla. Do you know who Ask and Embla are? This is important in Norse myth, but it's kind of hidden. There's only 2 or... They're mentioned...
They like heavenly bodies or some shit?
No, Ask and Embla are mentioned a lot, but the tale is only told 1 or 2 times. They are the Adam and Eve of Norse mythology. Or, I think in this case, the Eve and Adam. They are made from trees. Trees...
okay. Like humans are made from trees is what you're telling me. Oh man, Darwin's not going to be happy to figure this one out.
Odin and his fellow gods find... I believe he finds them as like driftwood. It's not clear in
he's
Voluspa.
like, it'd be great is if we turn these into living things and then watch them fuck. Let's do it.
Oh, well,
Odin power activate. I could see Odin actually doing that.
they had no breath, no soul, no hair, no voice. They looked inhuman. Odin gave them breath. Honir gave them souls. Loth gave them hair and human faces.
Loth gave them hair, and then we told them to leave.
Loth gave them
We
hair.
never talked about
and
him
everybody
again.
was like, what the fuck are you doing? I just think they'd look better with hair. Fine. Nobody
That's why
ever
we
wants
don't
my
talk
ideas.
about Loth.
Nobody ever wants Loth's ideas. It's all about Odin and what Odin wants. Hashtag Team Loth. if you're listening to this, hashtag Justice for Loth.
Fuck Loth. That guy sucks. So they made humans out of driftwood, and then Freya and giants. I remember. Is that coming up, or is that?
Before they do Freya and the giants, first we need to talk about how men's fates will be decided.
Probably on the battlefield.
3 wise women live there by that well under the tree. Earth is named one, another is Vithandi, and the third is named Skuld. They carve men's fates. They determine destiny's laws. They choose the lifespan of every human child and how each life will end. So yeah, we got 3 fates, similar to
Sounds like the
Greek
Disney's Hercules. Yeah.
myth. Well, Disney's Hercules, which is our source for the Greek myths.
Yep.
We only use primary sources.
They really need to take over the Egyptian myths, and we'll be good.
Another vague thing in Norse mythology is the difference between the Aesir and the Vanir. Have you heard these words? You've definitely heard Aesir before, or Aesir.
I've definitely heard them.
So the Aesir are Odin's family.
Sorry, every time you say that, I just can't stop thinking about Ass Eater.
The
But go on.
Aesir are
Thank
Odin's family. And
the Vanir are...
the Vanir, there's no need to say Van. You're making this purposely Midwestern.
The Von Erichs?
Yes, the Von
No,
Erichsen. No, the Vanir are another family of gods. And in many of the poetic tales, they are kind of joined into one, or they're in some kind of uneasy peace. Some of the gods that live in Asgard are Vanir, and they are kind of Vanir hostages, I think, to make sure that they don't, like, the family doesn't act up again. This is one of the few places that references, like, how that came to be, and there's a lot of actual theories that the Vanir were maybe a separate pantheon that got absorbed into the dominant culture via actual conquest, because there's this vague allusion to the first ever war that took place between the Aesir and the Vanir. The Aesir win, and
because they're better, Ben.
well, they're all pretty good. It, like in Voluspa, they make it sound like it was quite the war, and that the gods barely won, but they win, and they squeak by. Now there is another reference, before we get to Ragnarok, another reference to Odin's wife, married to a giant. I think this is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
This is a whole
There's
separate
an awful
story.
lot of Freya and giant action going on.
So in every Viking saga, I think I told you before that they do a lot of, hey buddy, give me some advice, or hey buddy, give me my fortune. And they get their fortune, and they get their advice, and then they ignore
forget about it immediately.
They forget about it immediately. And that is kind of what Voluspa is doing for the entire Poetic Edda. It's placed first in the book. I don't know if it's placed first in the original manuscripts, but it makes sense that it's first because it's giving you a preview of a lot of things that are going to be discussed in more detail later on. So the story of how the gods got the wall around Asgard is a whole separate poem, and it is a funny poem. And this is also how Odin gets his horse, which is how Loki gets knocked up by a horse.
I was about to say, didn't Loki do something with or to his horse?
So I will tell you the story in brief, just because it's funny. A Jotun comes to Asgard in disguise. He pretends to be a human being. And he says he will build for the gods a wall, and that he will complete it in some ridiculously short span of time. And all he wants in exchange for building them this magnificent wall that they really want, I don't even think they need it. I think they just want it.
That sounds like the Norse gods to me. We don't actually need this, but it would look fucking awesome.
All he wants is Odin's wife. All he wants is Freya, or Frigg. Unclear if they're the same person. And Loki's like, I think this is a win-win for us. There's no way he can finish the wall. Free wall. This is like...
And they were all like, yeah, Loki sounds like a pretty trustworthy fellow. I was on the fence at first, but then Loki decided to say that this was the right course of action. So,
yeah,
let's do it.
All the gods are kind of like, he's making sense. Free wall. Like, there's no way he can finish this wall in time. And this is like wall in 15 minutes or your money back. So,
and no one is like, isn't it weird that, like, there's a human here? Does that happen often? That humans just come up here and
the internal logic of the world is not something you should spend a lot of time dwelling on. So
it's not something they spent a lot of time dwelling on either. They're like, it's human, that makes sense. Let's do it. Get a wall. It's
possible that they didn't really conceive of these things as being on different, like, physical planes of existence the way we do. Like, Midgard may very well have just been the middle land, and if you sail far enough, they thought maybe you'll
fall off the edge. And
well, no, I think they thought maybe you'd hit Asgard or whatever. But yeah, so they're like, hey, free wall, let's do this. And they sign up for it, and they come out the next morning, and this guy is like making way too much progress on this wall.
Shit, kick it over. Break it.
He's definitely all he's got, and they tell him like he can't call in any crew or anything. All he can use is himself and his workhorse. You might see where this is going.
Oh my God.
So they gotta slow him down. They gotta slow him down so he can't finish this wall in time. So Loki has to seduce the horse.
Obviously.
That's the only
There was no other option.
Loki has to seduce the horse, which he does very successfully.
I wonder, like, how willing was Loki to do that? Like, Loki, you gotta slow him down. You gotta get this
so they
horse
actually,
in bed. And he's like, I'm game.
I think they actually are like, okay, Freya, you might have to marry this guy. And she's like, absolutely fucking not. And they're like, okay, well, Loki, this is all your fault. You got us into this. You get us out of this.
And he's like, I've got a plan.
And yeah, he's like, I got a plan. I'm going to go seduce his horse. That doesn't work. Fortunately, Thor shows up and kicks the guy's ass at the last moment. I mean, after Loki's been impregnated by a horse. But you might understand now why I love these myths. Why this is my favorite.
Shit. Loki fucking the horse didn't do the job. Quick, Thor, go kick his ass.
Well, and in Voluspa, what I like is, there's a quote here. I'm going to read this one, actually. Then all the gods went to their thrones, those holy, holy gods, and came to a decision. All the air would be poisoned with their deceit, or Odin's wife would have to be married to a giant. Thor alone was in the mood to fight. He does not take it lightly when he hears of such things, broken promises, broken oaths and vows, such false speech as even the gods had uttered. So Thor comes back and he fixes it for him, but he's not happy about it. He's like, I really wish you guys would stop doing such unmanly things as like lying.
He flexed while saying that.
And getting knocked up by horses. And like I come back.
That's still the best part.
I come back. Loki's pregnant with a 6-legged horse. We've got a wall half finished. Like it's the GIF where that guy comes in with the pizzas and everything's on fire.
He technically, he didn't break the letter of the contract, just the spirit of it. It's like if I ordered a pizza from Domino's and then I kneecapped the delivery driver and just waited until it was free. Technically, that's okay.
That's myth logic there. He didn't promise,
and he's Thor. No one's going to be able to arrest Thor.
Well, it's okay. It's
and they
like
didn't promise to not kick his ass.
It's like if you ordered a pizza you couldn't afford, and then you saw your big brother across the street, and you were like, "Hey, I need you to kick this guy's ass. He did me a terrible wrong." He's threatening.
He charged me money.
He's threatening to take my wife. But that's not the story we're here to tell. Maybe we could tell that one in more detail later. So we play the hits. We got Balder dies. Everybody knows that one. He gets stabbed with mistletoe by his blind brother at Loki's insistence. That's another whoopsie doodle from Loki.
Wah, wah, wah. Whoops.
Loki gets stuck in a mountain, and
is that after Lokasana?
Yeah, after Lokasana. So now we're getting set up. Now we're getting set up for Ragnarok.
Getting to the juicy bits.
Or no, before Loki is done, Fenrir gets chained.
Yeah, and then Loki gets chained with him, right?
He gets chained separately. They're in different spots.
Wow. Okay.
So now, Fenrir howls terribly before the doors to hell. The wolf will break its bonds and run. I know much wisdom. I see deep into the future, all the way to Ragnarok. A dark day for the gods. Brothers will fight one another and kill one another. Cousins will break peace with one another. The world will be a hard place to live in. It will be an age of adultery, an age of the axe, an age of the sword, an age of storms, an age of wolves. Shields will be cloven. Before the world sinks in the sea, there will be no man left who is true to another. So the rest of Voluspa is a description, more bullet points, I think, of how Ragnarok is going to go. And the gist is not well. So you might wonder, how does this all kick off?
Well, it starts with Loki and a can of tuna and not enough contraception. Okay.
You're really coming down hard on Loki. I think Loki is done a little wrong in this. Yeah, he killed Balder. Probably shouldn't have done that.
And yeah, he sired some pretty weird shit, including Fenrir.
I like Fenrir. Come on, giant wolf. You don't like the giant wolf? I like all of Loki's kids. 6-legged horse, giant wolf, half-dead girl. The world serpent, Jormungandr. You know him.
Oh, that's also Loki's child.
Yeah, the 3 children Loki has with the giantess are Fenrir, Jormungandr, and Hel.
Okay. Sounds like a great group of kids.
Yep.
Can't imagine how it all went so wrong.
Well, it all went wrong. As with many prophecies, trying to avert them is what makes them happen. Keep that in mind. A ship sails from the east, bearing giants over the sea, and Loki is its captain. The giants are coming together with Fenrir, and Loki too is with them on that voyage. So what are the gods going to do? I think for the rest of the poem, Nate,
fight him.
Nate, maybe I'd like you to play the role of Odin, asking me, the witch, how this is going to go. So I'm telling you right now,
great.
Loki is coming with an army of giants and Fenrir.
Okay. Well, Loki and I are blood brothers, so we're cool, right?
No. He remembers that whole you put a bowl of poison over his face and let it slowly
That was a
drip on
group
him.
effort, okay?
You tied him down with a bunch of made up stuff that doesn't exist.
In my defense, he was really drunk, okay?
You also imprisoned his son, who...
His son was an asshole.
Honestly, Fenrir didn't really do anything.
Oh, he did. He existed, okay?
Well, okay, so I
Yeah.
see you.
Yeah. Maybe he shouldn't have asked to be born, Dad.
I see you in council talking to the gods.
Oh, good. Okay. We're rallying a defense. Sounds like we've got this.
Yeah. And now, from the south come all of the, demons from Surtur. And,
Okay, that sounds bad.
I see you, Odin. Hey, good news. You're going to get a chance to fight, Fenrir.
Okay. Alright. I think I could take him. Now these demons from Surtur, are those like allied with Loki, or are they like a separate group?
Well, if it's any consolation, you don't live long enough to find out. Fenrir
it's
is
not.
gonna kill you almost immediately.
What? This giant wolf, how hard could it be? I've got a do you know I have a spear I could throw and it will always hit its target? Like, I could just throw it right now and it would hit Fenrir. I mean, I'm not gonna, because, like, I wanna.
Yeah,
But,
but
like...
you don't, though. But you don't. But if it's any consolation, your favorite son, who we all remember, Vithar, is going to avenge you.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna talk about Thor.
Well,
But,
Thor
yeah, Vithar.
is...
I love that guy. That old so-and-so.
Thor is
I love
busy.
him so much.
Thor...
Busy killing Loki and all of his spawn, right?
He doesn't...
Busy saving the day single-handedly.
He doesn't make it to Loki. He's fighting the entire Midgard serpent. Yeah, the snake big enough that it encircles the world.
So, sounds like just another Tuesday afternoon for Thor, then.
Yeah, well, and surprisingly, Thor, he's the champion of humankind. He's got a whole
Big manly man.
a whole race of mortals rooting for him, and he kills that very, very poisonous serpent. But
That son of a bitch, he got him.
not before he is bitten hundreds of times.
He'll be fine though, right? He's Thor, right?
He takes 9 steps and he falls down dead.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, what about my other son? That other one who's my favorite son, definitely, and he avenges me. He's gonna pick up where Thor left off, right? He's gonna save the day. We're all gonna be fine.
I'm searching the entire future and I don't know if I think he just falls off the face of the fucking earth. I never see him again. So
Damn it, just like my brothers. Don't know where they keep going.
hashtag justice for Vithar. They wrote him out. They just forgot about him. He's what's that the kid from Happy Days brother? He just walks up those stairs and never comes down.
He never came down.
No, so then I see the sun turning black.
Okay, that's...
The
we
entire
can fix that.
the
Just give
entire
us a little bit
earth
of
is
time.
covered with water. The seas flood the entire earth.
Well, if we just get enough floaties, we'll be fine. I mean,
Yggdrasil
I'm still alive technically, right? Like, my eye is still down there, right? That's how that works?
Yggdrasil is on fire.
Okay.
That's
This is fine. Everything is fine.
yeah, so you're dead and Yggdrasil's on fire. And then
But did I look cool as I went out?
oh yeah, you looked real metal.
Oh, fuck yeah, okay.
And then Fenrir bit
right.
off your torso. But yeah, so after that, things fade to black for a while. Yggdrasil doesn't burn down, but it does smolder a bit. And then the earth rises a second time.
Awesome. Whatever happened to that Surtur guys and Loki? Are they just gone, or?
Yeah.
Okay, alright, cool.
Yeah, no, that's...
Maybe they went to hang out with my son and brothers.
Yeah, no, Loki's, Yeah, no, it all works out. So everything's good. The Earth comes back. The remaining members of your family meet and talk about the
Sweet.
battle.
I have remaining members of my family. I actually did not expect that.
Yeah.
But with
Hoth
the
is
lack
there.
of tree or...
Hoth
Cool.
and Balder are there.
Baldur, son of a... He's dead, okay?
Yeah, he's the one guy that gets to come back.
What? Come on, man. Where's my resurrection? Huh? What about Odin?
I'm looking at the fate here, and it says, "What about Odin?" And yeah, so Balder comes back. Balder is way nicer. It seems like people generally prefer him to Odin. He's not constantly like harvesting them for to be pawns in his wars.
Well, to be fair, did you just hear how Ragnarok goes down? I'm gonna need all of the human pawns I can get.
The entire human race.
I want to throw wave after wave of men at Fenrir.
Oh, and you do. In fact, the entire human race dies.
Well, you win some, you lose some, am I right?
But don't worry, they come back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool, Odin can come back.
They come back. And
guess it's not.
Everything's
Guess
cool.
Odin doesn't get his turn to shine.
Yeah. So I see. I see a hall standing there, more beautiful than sunlight, thatched with gold at Gimle. There, bold men will dwell and enjoy cheer throughout their lives. Then the dark dragon will come flying down from the dark mountains.
Oh, god damn it, we're doing it again.
That glistening serpent, Nithog, will bear corpses in his wings as he flies over that valley. Okay, bye. Going back to hell now.
It was kind of like, oh, I guess we're doing this again? And then
It ends on a cliffhanger.
Okay, bye.
Like all good apocalypse scenarios, it ends on a cliffhanger. Odin's not going to make it. Thor's not going to make it. And in all honesty...
the guy who gets killed by mistletoe, that's the ticket.
But he could only be killed by mistletoe.
God damn it. How do I get that power so that I could survive a wolf eating me in half?
I guess you could just ask Freya to go around and talk to everything on your behalf and ask if it would politely not kill you. She's not going to do it.
So yeah,
but
no.
Everybody in that hall is thinking, no, we might need to kill Odin one day. No, I'm not going to do that. Of all the people that could possibly be immortal, not this one.
Not him.
No.
So yeah, then it ends on maybe not good.
Maybe a hopeful note, maybe not a hopeful note. Maybe Nithog is just there to clean things up.
That'd be nice. Just flying around, taking away the corpses that we couldn't bury.
He does gnaw at the root of the world tree. So does that answer all of your questions about Ragnarok?
It sounds like Ragnarok, like it's just like part one of a series of Ragnaroks.
Yeah, I think most people stopped their research at the point where they're all dead. It's kind of like, yeah, I mean, if I am 100% and everyone I know 100% guaranteed to be dead by the time this second age happens, who the hell cares?
Yeah, but what if you're one that comes back, like Baldur?
No, it's just Baldur.
Oh. Okay.
Nope, just Baldur.
Well, I sure would like it if, what's his name? Dragon Boy?
Which one?
Nidhogg.
So in Final Fantasy, another Japanese one, it's Nidhogg.
Nidhogg is a video game on Steam, too, that I saw Donkey play.
Nidhogg is one pronunciation of it. It's kind of, there's the sound I think that is made is like Nidhogg.
Well, I would appreciate it if he would quit 9 on the roots, because the tree needs that to, like, nourish itself. Like, maybe pick some of the leaves?
They're planted in the void of Gunungagap, so...
Yeah. I mean, obviously it is, but like, come on.
Wait till you hear about the cow that licks frost from Ymir's beard.
First of all, obviously. Second of all,
I'm pretty sure that creates
a
Odin.
picture of Ymir. Ymir is just drinking directly from a cow's teat in this picture. Dude, come on. But
are you looking up Ymir?
Okay. How does Ymir and Yggdrasil, like, how do those fit together? Like, we killed this guy, we used his body to make the world, and then we, like, planted a tree inside of him or something? Like,
I think
what's that?
Ymir and Yggdrasil. I think the seed that becomes Yggdrasil and Ymir come into existence at the same time.
Okay.
You know, this is, I'm going to say it's at least as consistent as the Christian creation story, where there's just some guy who's always there, who's like, you know what I'm going to do today? Create everything. Why did he do that? Why didn't he do it before? Where did he come from?
He came from...
Why does that make more sense than a cow licking a dude's beard?
When the tree burned down, and it had to regrow, and then Baldur was there, and I guess Baldur became Christian god by putting a beard on and cosplaying. So, we solved religion. Thank you for coming to our TED Talk on...
Okay, so as always, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. The Bible needs more weird shit with, like, people's bodies being turned into...
Oh yeah, if only the Bible had some weird shit where a guy breaks his body and gives his blood to somebody for them to eat and drink as often as they do it in remembrance of him.
Yeah, if only it had something like that. But unfortunately it does not.
No, in all honesty. So I'm always interested to know the outside perspective, especially because this one actually does get into some of the stuff that like did get translated.
Most people know.
Yeah, this gets into like the
of.
stuff that Tolkien used and the stuff that all the RPGs mine for. It's usually names. There's usually very little.
Needs more bomber. So they made him fat.
It sounds like a fat guy's name.
It does sound like that.
It's a lot of plosives.
To be fair.
Like if you picture a bomber, you're picturing a round man. You know, it's
that's fair.
It's not like a Usain Bolt, okay? Obviously, Usain Bolt is a guy that runs fast. His name is Bolt. He bolts. Bomber, he bombers. Oakenshield, that's what he has. That's what he does. You know why there's two? First one died, was used as a shield.
Was he really?
No, I don't fucking know.
we need that myth.
There are more myths about dwarves. There is a myth where oh god, this doesn't sound good. There is a myth where a dwarf wants to marry one of Thor's daughters.
Uh-oh.
And
violence ensues.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's a kind of riddle violence.
What's black and blue and red all over?
You. No, it's
Bomber.
It's funny.
Crunch.
But yeah, so are you still interested in more Norse mythology, or is this where you get off the train?
I'm still interested in it, but as far as on this podcast, need a little bit of incentive. You know what I mean?
You can't beg all the time. No.
Yes, I can, Ben.
Which direction would you like to go in if we do this again? And I will pose this same question to the audience. You do not have to buy us a coffee.
We need either the story of Loki getting impregnated by a horse and Thor beating up a defenseless delivery driver.
He's not defenseless.
Or,
he's a giant.
Against Thor, he's pretty defenseless, okay? A one-sided ass-kicking ensues, I'm sure. So either that, or we need the one where Thor loses his hammer and Loki has to find it, and I think Thor cross-dresses or something.
Yes, Thor has to dress as a woman and pretend to be the bride of the man. A recurring theme. somebody steals Thor's hammer and will only give it back if they give him Freya. So Thor has to pretend to be Freya because Freya does not agree to help them.
Wow. Thanks, Freya. All you had to do was marry someone else again. Why? All you had to do was take another one for the team. God.
Yeah, Freya does not put up with a lot of their shenanigans. So.
Ah, damn it. I put my keys down and I forgot where they were. Freya, gonna need you to take one for the team here.
Norse mythology is like a religious It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where it's just a series of terrible people having terrible things happen to them.
All right, you've got to take that. You've got to take that music now and do that.
The gang looks for Mjolnir. All right. If you want, I think the direction I was going to ask you if the direction you wanted to go in was more lore or more story. Like, do you want fun character interactions?
One of those two stories, I think.
Yeah.
Or something similar to those.
But the viewer can vote. If you have a favorite Norse myth, let us know, and we can cover that. Or if you don't ever want us to cover Norse myth again, let us know. And I probably still will, but I'll take it into consideration.
Buy us a coffee and say, don't cover any more Norse stuff.
You could do that. I'm still going to cover it. If you buy me a coffee and ask me to cover something, I might. If you buy me a coffee and ask me not to cover something, no dice. Hard line there. But yeah, you can...
So everyone buy Ben a coffee. Tell him to read more like Halo books or something he's going to hate. Cowboy books, maybe?
I don't like Westerns. Ironic, given my choice of old Norse expert. Because he is a cowboy, but I don't like cowboy books. That's okay. He probably doesn't like
starred Loki?
You're bringing me back. You're bringing me back around. All right, guys. If you want to talk to us, you can reach out to us on Twitter at WABpod, Instagram at Words About Books Podcast. We have an email address. It is wordsaboutbookspod@gmail.com. And if you think we deserve something extra and you would like to leave us a monetary tip, you could buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/WABpod. There is a blog at blog.wordsaboutbooks.ninja. I did post my honest, not funny thoughts on Ready Player 2. And I try to explain why it lives rent-free in my head. I hope you will enjoy that, because I did not.